this your first time here? Oh, great, wonderful. You're going to have a wonderful time. When we're done here, please go and explore the exhibit. I'm just going to introduce our performers for today a little bit, and then I'm going to go sit down and enjoy this program as well. My name is Ike Tomlin. I'm the former Director of Operations here at the MAC, recently retired and now a consultant. And I'm so glad to be able to host this event this morning for a crowd of about 150 people, selected individuals who are having the privilege of joining us today. We are live streaming this on Facebook Live, so let your folks know that they can tune in and enjoy it as well. YouTube, not Facebook. Oh, YouTube and Facebook Live. Wow, we're really in the 21st century now. We are so honored to be able to present this program because of a generous grant from South Arts in collaboration with the National Foundation for the Arts, as well as a local contributor, Mississippi Arts Commission, and the Charles Young Foundation. Please give our funders a huge round of applause. It is without these organizations' help that we would not be able to bring you these wonderful programs at the MAX and other museums across the country. You know, the MAX is such a beautiful new building here in Mississippi, in Meridian. A lot of people don't realize that it is a nonprofit organization, just like the ones that you all represent. So we really depend on our funders to help us have these programs and present these programs for our people here in Meridian and in Lauderdale County. So without further ado, as we celebrate Juneteenth, let's give another round of applause. Woo! That's now a national holiday. Yes. So very timely presentation. I'm going to let these guys tell their story. So without further ado, we welcome to Meridian, Mississippi, and to the MAX, Jonathan Blanchard.
Stand to your feet, everybody stand to your feet. Get on up. Everybody take your hammer in your hand and raise it above your head. We'll all come down together. Let me hear you. There you go. Imagine being in a field from sun up to sun down, peeling back land, breaking rocks. There you go. I'll be so glad when the sun goes down. I'll be so glad when the sun goes down. Ain't all that sleepy, but I wanna lie down. Ain't all that sleepy, but I wanna lie down. You chop your corner just like I chop mine. You chop your corner just like I chop mine. I was that a night, baby, all I can't see. I was that a night, baby, all I can't see. I'll be so glad when the sun goes down. I'll be so glad when the sun goes down. Everybody on down. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all sound so good. Go ahead and have a seat. Go ahead and have a seat. Now, what you have just participated in is something called a field song. Say field song.
Field song.
Now, these are songs that came out of the tireless work that was taking place after enslaved Africans had been kidnapped and transported to this land. And most of those folks that were able to survive that trip had to be young enough and healthy enough. Most of them were teenagers. Most of them were adolescents. Stripped of their religion, their tradition, and their heritage, doing the best they could to hold on to what little bit they could remember. Imagine being a teenager and kidnapped and taken away forever, and being in the bowels of a ship for between 3 to 6 months, and arriving in a foreign land where no one looks like you except for those that are chained next to you. What they were able to hold on to, they cultivated. They used to create a language, something called the spiritual. How many of you are familiar with the spiritual? Yeah? Songs like, let us break bread together on our knees. Let us break bread together on our knees. When I fall on my knees with my face to the rising sun, oh Lord, have mercy on me. Yeah? Now these spirituals, these field songs, these field songs were used to communicate. Because again, speaking your own language had been outlawed. And before long, the beating of the drum had been outlawed. And in a lot of southern states, you can find it still on the books. Though it's not an enforced law, beating a drum in public requires a certain permission. It's still there, I think. They might erase it like they erased in history in Texas, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm not going to do it. Stay on my program. So, these songs were used to communicate, kind of like how we use slang. Let us break bread together, meaning let us meet together. When I fall on my knees, meaning we're sneaking off. Facing the rising sun gives direction because the sun rises in the sky. That's right. Sun rises in the sky, rises in the east. All right? So that's giving direction. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. Make sure you're not being followed. How many of you heard the song that sounds like this? Way in the water, way in the water, children, way in the water. God's gonna trouble the water, singing way in the water, way in the water, children, way in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of these songs are songs that we hear in our church, in our service rituals, like let us break bread. That's something we often hear in a ritual called communion. But that song has a double meaning. That song was created for a practical purpose, just like Wade in the Water was created for a practical purpose. You see, when you were trying to escape, plantations all around knew what was going on. And they would sing these songs to let you know that the dogs had been unleashed. And the only way to keep the dog off your scent was to either take an onion and rub it on your foot, or to wade in or walk in whatever water was nearby. And that's how you kept those dogs off of you. And oftentimes enslaved Africans would escape up north. How many of you are familiar with the story of Lewis and Clark? Lewis and Clark expedition. So you were talking about escaping, going over the Missouri River. During that time also, anything west of the Mississippi was Spanish territory. So they often escaped going west over the Mississippi. Again, going through a body of water. But believe it or not, a lot of enslaved Africans, and I say enslaved because no man is born a slave. Man is enslaved by other man. But a lot of enslaved Africans went further down south into Florida. If you want to research that, look up the Seminole Indian Wars. Those people that escaped those plantations and went further down south became what we know as part of the Seminole Nation. So you had a group of natives, you had a group of enslaved Africans who had ran away, and a group of Africans that were here long before slavery, long before Columbus, who had all migrated to this one place, and they began to work together to defend themselves. Hence the Seminole Indians. All right? So, out of the spiritual came all forms of American music. Your country, and your blues, and your gospel come first. How many have heard a song that sounds like this? Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I? Now you respond, coming forth to carry me home. Call and response. A band of angels coming after me, coming forth to carry me. Now watch this, keep going, guys. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. You can't count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be plenty of time for counting when the dealing's done. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Now, how many of y'all heard the spiritual call to gambler? I'm just teasing, it's not a spiritual. The country music, however, is also a derivative of the spiritual, and that's what we're trying to show you. Now, once you throw in the culture of the Appalachian Mountains, where you got poor white folk and poor black folk working together in coal mines. This is right after 1865. Working in these coal mines, and if you want to hear more about that, check out Booker T. Washington and his story. Okay, he comes out of that area in Virginia. So you got these mountains, Tennessee, Virginia, and Kentucky, where they kind of meet, Appalachian Mountains. And once you throw the African instrument, the banjo, into the mix, you get that country music. Now, for a long time, your country, your blues, and your gospel sounded a lot alike. How many of y'all seen a movie with Denzel Washington in it called The Great Debaters? You remember that very first scene where they're all in this shack, and it's a real hot and sweaty kind of scene, and everybody's dancing real close and everything? Well, if you listen to the music and you listen to the lyrics are a spiritual, but it emotes the same kind of feeling. So at this time, again, a lot of this music sounded a lot alike. So we're going to share a little gospel with y'all, if that's all right. Can we do a little gospel? All right, so this song that we're going to do is a Staple Singers rendition of the song, so it's a little modern. But let me tell you a little bit about the Staple Singers. Pop Staples was down in Alabama, and he heard a young man preaching. And after hearing this young man preaching, he decided that he wanted to do on stage what Dr. King was doing on the pulpit, and that was liberating people through his music. So he brought his folks into his room, and they started devising a way to create songs that would do just that. Pop Staples, one of the benefactors of the civil rights movement. So we're gonna do a little Pop Staples, little staple singers for y'all. That's all right. And if you want to get up and clap your hands, get up and clap your hands. Y'all ready? Here we go. Caleb on guitar, y'all. Y'all bring it down some. Now, give him a round of applause. Yeah. I know it's early in the morning for some of y'all, but the more energy you give me, the more energy I give you. So, at this moment, you get a chance to shine. I want to see who can sing the best. Huh? I need all the ladies to stand up. All the ladies, get up. Get up! Get up! Y'all ready to sing? Get up!
Get on up.
All you gotta do is repeat after me. Here we go. Here we go. Say, hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. One more time. One more time. Sing, hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. What you think, Al?
Well, you know, I heard a couple people singing.
I think the guys are better.
The guys are usually better.
All right, ladies, sit down. We're going to get the guys a chance.
They are.
Fellas, I need all the guys to get up. All the men stand up, yeah. Uh-oh. Y'all in trouble. Fellas, y'all ready to say yeah? Oh. All right, here we go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, sing. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
One more time, sing. Say, hold on. Hold on.
Yeah.
I think the guys got this one.
I think the girls need another chance.
I
I agree.
going to go with equality this time. So,
Okay.
Thank you, fellas. Thank y'all so much. Why you say the girls need another chance?
I mean, you know, go on and tell the story.
Stop the music. Miss Ashton has informed me that the girls the ladies need another chance.
Yeah.
Who said of course? Well, y'all so spoiled, so spoiled.
Yes.
Do we have any young men in the house? We have any young men under 15 in the house? Raise your hand. Under 15, okay. Let me tell you a story. Fellas, I'm gonna make this. It's best that you learn this lesson now. It's gonna get you a long way in life.
Yep.
That is, the ladies always get another chance. All right, ladies, stand up one more time.
Come on, ladies.
1, 2, 3, sing. Hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. One more time, say. Hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. That's pretty good, right?
That was great.
I still think the guys did better. Bring it down, son, one more time. Now, even though we're dealing with the early part of gospel, by the time the 60s came along, these gospel songs and these spirituals became protest songs. These were the songs that they sang when they marched, when they sat in, when they were boycotting. And when they were marching, they would form something called the Unbreakable Chain. Say Unbreakable Chain.
Unbreakable Chain.
Okay, now, because we're trying to be safe, we're going to counterform it. So I want you to take your right arm. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Take your right arm and put it over your left arm and fist bump the person next to you. This is called the Unbreakable Chain, letting them know that we are united. We are one. We're all standing up for equality together. And we're going to rock. We're going to rock. Here we go. We're going to your right first. To your right. Here we go. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Only chain that I can stand are the chains of hand in hand. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. If that plow stays in your hand, then you're straight in the promised land. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Everybody sing. Say, hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. One more time. Say, hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Now, I got to do some blues because that's what this period is about. Again, that gospel and country and blues existed at the same time. So, how many of y'all familiar with the blues? I mean, it's Mississippi. Come on now. Okay, so you, all right. Now, it was said that a man by the name of W.C. Handy was at a train station in Alabama and heard this old man with his pocket knife. Now, this is the myth. He heard this man with the pocket knife strumming a guitar. And from that, he was inspired to write the Memphis Blues and St. Louis Blues. That's the myth. But we all know the blues started in Mississippi. The blues started in Delta. How many of y'all familiar with Howlin' Wolf? Yeah. Screaming Jay Hawkins. B.B. King. Sister Rosetta Thorpe. Yeah, okay, all right. We're going to do a little, yeah. We're going to do a little Muddy Waters for y'all. Is that all right? Now, between every phrase, I want y'all to say, yeah. Got it? Yeah. All right. Let's do it. Everything gonna be all right this morning. Oh, yeah. Give it up for Caleb, y'all. Yeah. Hey, child. And that represents a man now. No bees, no. Oh, child. Why? That spells madness, boy. Yeah, that's the blues, y'all. That's right. That's right. Now this blues was starting to inspire something a little further west of the Mississippi. You see, I believe that culture grows where there are waterways. Specific cities have culture that you can identify because it spawns out of waterways. Folks like places like Savannah and New Orleans and Memphis and St. Louis, these things that are sitting on that water. So this Delta blues moves on over to New Orleans. And folks like Buddy Bolden and Louis Armstrong and Jelly Roll Morton begin to pick that up. And they create something called jazz. How many of y'all familiar with jazz, huh? Yeah? We're gonna do a little jazz for y'all, if that's all right. Little syncopation, some improvisation. Mixed in with that blues, you get some jazz. See, from here on out, all forms of American music are built on the blues. Here we go. Put your fingers together so you can feel cool. Davis on keys, yo. Davis on keys, everybody. So this jazz, this blues, this jazz, this blues moved on up the water, got to Chicago. Somebody decided to plug the guitar into the wall and electrify that thing. That's right. Around this same time, we are coming out of World War I. And this is the first time that this country's middle class experiences something called pocket change. Say pocket change. And this pocket change, come on, no, I want some pocket. This pocket change found its way into the pockets of the teenagers of that group. So radio stations and record companies came together to devise a plan as to how they can get their hands on some of that money. See, for a long time, music had been very, very segregated, and blues had been isolated to certain radio stations and certain areas. But they came up with a plan, and what they did was this. They took blues, listen very carefully, they took blues and changed the name to rock and roll. I'll say it again. They took the blues and they changed the name to rock and roll. Now, how many of y'all are familiar with the Cane? Cane, Elvis. Yeah, how many of y'all are familiar with, how many of y'all familiar with Ike Turner? Now, they say that Ike Turner, most musicians believe that Ike Turner's song, The Rocket 88, say Rocket 88, was the first rock and roll song, right? However, it was not. It was not. Back in 1922, say 1922, a young lady who was a school teacher by the name of Trixie Smith, say Trixie Smith. Trixie Smith sang the first rock and roll song. It was the first song that had the phrase rock and roll in it together. The ironic part about it was she was on a record label called Black Swan Records. Say Black Swan Records. Black Swan Records was owned by none other than philosopher and professor W.E.B. Du Bois. So back in 1922, we call her the mother of rock and roll. Miss Trixie Smith was the first person to sing a rock and roll song. We're going to do a little rock and roll for y'all. Is that all right? If you want to get up and dance, get on up and dance. Here we go. Drinking my liquor out of old jelly jar, won't you step on my blue suede shoe? You can do anything, but don't step on my blue suede shoe. Come on, sing, y'all. Here we go. Come on. Blue suede shoe. 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 You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. You ain't never caught a rabbit, you ain't no friend of mine. Well, they said you was high class, well, that was just a lie. Well, they said you was high class, well, that was just a lie. You ain't never caught a rabbit, you ain't no friend. This is for you, here we go. Come on, baby, let's do the twist. Come on, baby, let's do the in my little hand, and it goes like this. My pa is sleeping, and my mama ain't around. My pa is sleeping, and my mama ain't around. We're gonna twist and twist and twist till the sun goes down. Come on and twist, baby, baby, twist. Yeah, yeah, just like this. Tutti frutti, oh Rudy, 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 yeah. Oh, I'm Baba Luba, a lot of man, boom. I got a girl named Sadie, she almost drive me crazy. I got a girl named Sadie, she almost drive me crazy. Got a girl named Sadie, yeah. Oh, I'm Mama Luma, a lot of bamboo. Got a girl named Sue, she knows just what to do. I got a girl named Sue, she knows just what to do. I got a girl named Sue, Wop Baba Luma, a lot of bamboo. Yeah, yeah. So there was a bleed over. There was a bleed over between this blues, this rock and roll, this blues, this rock and roll, this blues, this rock and roll. And as we try to get the music out to a broader audience, a DJ changed the name again. And this time they called what was once known as race music, they called it rhythm and blues. So we're moving slowly now through the chronology of American music. So, this rock and roll, this blues, this rock and roll, this blues becomes what we know as rhythm and blues. And in the 60s and 70s, artists used their platform to speak out and to protest. Great artists, and we're going to say their names. Groups like Peter, Paul, and Mary. Say Peter, Paul, and Mary. They're folk singers. And John Lennon. Say John Lennon. Curtis Mayfield. Sam Cooke. And one of my favorites, Mr. Marvin Gaye. How many of y'all familiar with Mr. Marvin Gaye? That album that he put out, that What's Going On album, was protested all over the place. But it was one of Motown's top selling albums. If you know the song, feel free. Here we go. Mother, mother, there are too many of you crying. Brother, 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 far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love here today. this part, sing it with us. Here we go. Everybody, put your feet in. Father, Father, everybody thinks we're wrong, they think we're wrong. Oh, but who are they to judge? Simply 'cause I Harry's lawyer. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in. Here's a day, oh, pick your line, pick your side. Don't punish me, brutality. Come on, talk to me, so you can see what's going on, 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 what's going on. Around 56, an ally of America found itself in a conflict where they were trying to maintain a land that did not belong to them that they had colonized. And the ally I'm speaking of is France. They were trying to control resources in Vietnam. As the 60s and 70s roll on, we find ourselves in that conflict as well. There were a lot of folk that believed that we should be there, and a lot of people that believed we should not have been there. Either way, there were a lot of lives that were lost, and there were a lot of lives that may not have been lost that were changed as they came back to the States and couldn't find employment, couldn't find housing after being in the horrendous state of war. So our country, we as individuals, we as citizens, began to rebel, and we lost our faith in our government. We lost our faith in the idea and the ideas that govern us, and our eyes began to be open as to how things were actually being ran and how they were taking place. In this rebellion, in this anger, in this frustration, and a willingness to release the old came. And out of this came a soundtrack, and that soundtrack was nothing other than the funk. How many of y'all familiar with the funk? Yeah? People like Parliament Funkadelic and Earth, Wind and Fire and the Bar-Kays and Ohio Players. This music was setting folk free. It was letting them be free. They were loose with it. And it was a rebellion. It was the direct opposite of the organization and the uniformity of the time prior to it. We're going to do a little funk for y'all, all right? All right. Who said that? I expect you to get up and dance. This song's for you. I saw you walk in. This song about you. Let's go. Oh, she's a break. How? She's mighty, just letting it all hang out. Oh, she's a break. How? She's the I know. Oh, she's a break. How? Well put together, everybody knows this is how the story goes. Listen, she knows she's got everything that a woman needs to get a man. How could she lose with the stuff she used? 36, 24, 36. What a winning hand. She's a break. Wow. She's mighty, just letting it all hang out. Oh, she's a break. Wow. She's the one, the only one, built like an Amazon. Oh, she's a break. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? We're gonna shake it down right now. Here we go, here we go. Shake it down, shake it down, shake it down now. Shake it down, shake it down, shake it down now. Shake it down, shake it down, shake it down now. Shake it down, shake it down now. Shake it down, shake it down, shake it down now. Shake it down, shake it down, shake it down now. Shake it down, shake it down, shake it down now. Shake it down. Come on now. Come on now, where y'all at? Where the Megan needs at? Shake it down, shake it down, shake it down now. Shake it down, shake it down, shake it down now. Shake it down, shake it down, shake it down now. Oh, break. Oh. She's mighty, I'm just letting it all hang out. She's a break. Oh. She's the one, the only one, built like an Amazon. She's a break. Yeah. Yeah. So we come from I'll be so glad when the sun goes down. I'll be so glad when the sun goes down. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. We've come from all the way from there to here now. As we enter the 70s, we go from everything being on the one to something called 4 to the floor. Say 4 to the floor. Some of y'all may know what that is. That's disco. And out of this disco comes what we know as hip hop. I'm going to show you how. Y'all ready? Say yeah. Let's go. hip it to the hip it to the hip, hip hop, you don't stop. Rock it to the bang bang boogie, to up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie we beat. Now what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. And me and I brought the crew, we're gonna try to move your feet. But first you gotta a bang bang, a rhythm for the boogie to up jump the boogie to the bang bang boogie, let's rock. You don't stop, that beat that'll make your body rock. Say ho, say ho, say ho, ho, say ho, ho, say ho, 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 say ho, ho, ho. Now somebody, anybody, everybody scream. Thank you all so much for being a wonderful crowd. Did you enjoy yourselves? Hey, thank you all so much for your energy. I want to thank the Mississippi Arts Commission. I want to thank Miss Ike Turner for making this possible. The Max Theater. I want to introduce my band, if that's all right. On bass, right behind me. Give it up for Brother Dale. Yeah. On drums in the pocket. Give it up for little Timmy in the pocket. Yeah. On guitar, give it up for Caleb. To my immediate right, your immediate left. Yeah. Give it up for the lovely Miss Monica. In the middle, Miss Africa. Yes, that's her real name. To my far right, your far left, the baby of the bunch, Miss Tiffany. Tip Star, y'all. Without him, none of this would be possible. My musical director, all the way from Montgomery, Alabama, Mr. Kerry Davis. I'm Jonathan Blanchard. We are the usual suspects.
Listen, I can listen to these guys all day long. How about y'all? This has just been so wonderful. This is kind of in the middle of a weekend of entertainment here. Some of you know that I host Maxie's Juke Joint Blues series on Friday nights. So we started last night with a really good party. We wanted to do something that would reflect the education all about Juneteenth, and of course we concentrated on music because that's what the Max, one of the things the Max is all about is music. And then we're also going to have a concert this afternoon that was open to the public. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate, so it will not be outside, but these guys have wonderfully agreed to come back at 1:30. So you can come back too. Don't leave, just don't leave the building. So next up is we are able to provide lunch for you all. Thanks to the Charles Young Foundation. Thank you so much. And again, a great round of applause for South Arts in collaboration with the National Foundation of the Arts and Mississippi Arts Commission. We thank y'all so much for all of the funding. Yes. So we're going to turn the lights up a little bit so everybody's not tripping over each other, and we're going to head out. But first, we have some of my helpers handing out some surveys and questionnaires, because you know when you get money from grantors, they want to know how people feel about it. It's just a few little questions, and it'll take you less than 5 minutes. It might take these young people, it'll take them 60 seconds. So just go ahead and fill those out. You don't have to put your name on them if you don't want to. And we'll collect those as you're leaving out the door. This door over here, it's open. You're going to head to the courtyard, pick up your lunch, and you can bring it back inside and eat anywhere on the first floor that you like. Just can't take it up to the exhibit. So just go out, get your lunch, come back in. You can come back in here if you like, and enjoy. Thank you all so much. Another round of applause for Jonathan Blanchard.